The showdown that shook Washington. The White House press briefing room was packed. Cameras whirred, reporters whispered, and tension buzzed in the air. Karoline Leavitt adjusted the microphone, scanning the crowd. She had handled tough press conferences before, but today felt different. The room wasn't just filled with journalists. It was filled with anticipation. "Good afternoon," she began. "Let's get started." Hands shot up immediately. She pointed to a familiar face in the second row. "Ms. Leavitt," the reporter began, "can you clarify the administration's stance on tax cuts?" Routine. Easy. Karoline answered smoothly, sticking to the talking points. Another question, then another. The usual back and forth. But then, a voice cut through the room like a blade. "Ms. Leavitt, let's talk about accountability." Karoline's stomach tightened. She knew that voice. Front row, leaning forward. Smirk in place, the one reporter who didn't come for answers, only for a fight. Karoline nodded, keeping her expression neutral. "Go ahead." The reporter didn't waste time. "Do you believe the administration's policies are disproportionately harming marginalized communities?" The room went still. Other journalists exchanged glances. Karoline's voice remained steady. "I've answered that before. Our policies are designed to benefit all Americans. But studies suggest otherwise." Karoline exhaled slowly. "I disagree with that characterization." The reporter leaned in, voice sharp. "So no comment?" A murmur spread through the room. Karoline knew what was happening. The reporter wasn't asking a question. She was setting a trap. Karoline met her gaze. "I've given my answer. Let's move on." Silence. Then, "Why is it so hard for you to be transparent?" The tension thickened. Some journalists scribbled notes. Others watched, waiting for Karoline's response. She felt the weight of the cameras, the headlines forming in real time. "I've been transparent," Karoline said, "but this press briefing isn't about creating viral moments." The reporter smirked. "Are you suggesting I'm not doing my job?" Another trap. Another test. Karoline's fingers tightened around the podium. "I'm suggesting we stick to real questions." A low murmur. The room shifted, but the reporter wasn't done. "So you're silencing the press now?" A few quiet gasps. Karoline straightened. "Freedom of the press is about seeking truth, not manufacturing controversy." The reporter let out a small, knowing laugh. "Right. Expecting accountability is controversial now?" A veteran journalist muttered from the back. "This isn't journalism. It's performance." The room froze. For a split second, even the reporter hesitated. But then she saw it, Karoline's brief glance toward security. And she pounced. "You're really going to have me removed?" The camera zoomed in. The moment was unfolding exactly as the reporter wanted. She had pushed. Now she had to decide, walk out on her own or force security's hand. Jaw clenched, she stood. "This is a disgrace," she muttered. Then, louder for the cameras, "You can kick me out, but you can't silence the truth." She turned to leave. Just before stepping out, she paused. One last shot. "Good luck spinning this." Then the door clicked shut. The room exploded with noise. By the time Karoline left the podium, her phone was already buzzing. "It's trending," an aide said, catching up to her. "Hashtag silencing the press is everywhere." Karoline exhaled. "Of course it is. The major outlets are running with it. Some are fair, others not so much." Leavitt removes journalist for asking tough questions. Karoline Leavitt shuts down press freedom. Chilling moment for democracy. Karoline laughed dryly. She wasn't asking questions. She was performing. "Doesn't matter," the aide said. "That's not how it's being framed." Karoline glanced at the news vans setting up outside. Reporters waiting, hunting. "So, what's the play?" the aide asked. Karoline didn't hesitate. "Release the full unedited footage." The aide blinked. "Are you sure?" No spin, no edits, Karoline repeated. Let people see exactly what happened. Within the hour, the video was live, and then something unexpected. A respected journalist, not conservative, not partisan, went on air and said it. She pushed. She got an answer. She didn't like it, so she kept pushing, not for clarity, but for conflict. The host frowned. So you're saying Karoline was justified? The journalist shrugged. I'm saying this wasn't journalism, it was bait. Karoline watched the clip, and for the first time that day, she smiled. The battle wasn't over, but at least now, the truth was out there. Would anyone care? If you want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and tell me, was Karoline right or was this an attack on the free press? Let's talk in the comments.